Hello and welcome. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever sat in a comfortable chair, maybe your favorite armchair after a long day, and thought for just a second before you stood up? Maybe you pushed off with your hands a little more than you used to. Or perhaps you found yourself avoiding that low, soft sofa when company comes over, opting for the firmer dining chair instead. It's a subtle change, one that creeps in so quietly we barely notice it, until one day we do. We might dismiss it, telling ourselves, well, this is just part of getting older. But I'm here today to respectfully and wholeheartedly challenge that idea. What if I told you that the simple act of getting up from a chair is one of the most important movements you do all day? And what if strengthening that one single movement could be the key to making not just standing, but walking, climbing stairs, and feeling steady on your feet significantly easier? You might be skeptical. In a world full of one simple trick promises, that's a healthy response. The title of this video is the Get Up Exercise, one seated move to make standing and walking easier. And I want to address that promise head on. Is it really possible for one move to make that much of a difference? The short answer is yes, when it's the right move. We're not talking about a gimmick. We're talking about a foundational, compound exercise that physical therapists and medical professionals at esteemed institutions like Johns Hopkins Medicine often recommend as a first line of defense against declining mobility. Why? Because it directly mimics and strengthens a movement pattern you use dozens, if not hundreds of times every single day. The goal today isn't to turn you into a gym athlete. It's to give you a powerful, practical tool to protect your independence, to maintain your quality of life, and to help you keep doing the things you love, whether that's gardening, playing with your grandchildren, or simply moving through your day with confidence and ease. Over the next few minutes, we're going to explore exactly why this one movement is so critical. We'll break down, step by step, how to do it safely and effectively, no matter your current fitness level. We'll even discuss how to build it into a simple routine that can truly safeguard your future. And most importantly, we're going to talk about turning the tables on the fear of falling, transforming that anxiety into a feeling of control and empowerment. And a quick but important reminder, I'm not a doctor, and this video is for informational purposes only. The information shared here is based on widely available research from credible health organizations, but it is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please consult with your physician or a qualified physical therapist before beginning any new exercise program, especially if you have pre-existing conditions, pain, or balance concerns. They can help you tailor these movements to your specific needs and ensure you're proceeding safely. Your health is your most valuable asset, and partnering with your healthcare provider is the smartest first step you can take. Now, let's begin by understanding why this one specific movement, the act of getting up from a chair, is so incredibly important. Think about your day. You get up from bed in the morning. You stand up from the breakfast table. You get out of the car to run errands. You get up from the sofa to answer the door. You get up from the toilet. It is, without a doubt, one of the most fundamental and repeated actions in our lives. When we are young, we do it without a thought. It's automatic. But as we age, we can begin to lose strength in the key muscles that power this movement. And that's when you start to notice a change. This isn't just about convenience. It's about the physics of your own body. The sit-to-stand movement relies on a powerful team of muscles working in perfect coordination. The stars of the show are your quadriceps, the big muscles on the front of your thighs, and your glutes, the strong muscles in your buttocks. These are your body's primary engines for lifting you up against gravity. Think of them as the powerful hydraulic lift on a piece of heavy machinery. When they're strong, lifting your body weight is an easy job. But if they weaken, your body has to find other ways to get the job done. That's when you start using your arms to push off, or you rock back and forth to build momentum. Supporting this team are your hamstrings, your core muscles, and even the muscles in your lower back. They are the stabilizers, the support crew that keeps you steady and balanced as you move from a seated to a standing position. According to Hinge Health, a digital clinic for joint and muscle care, mastering this movement is crucial because it directly translates to a lower risk of falls and a greater sense of independence. When these muscles are strong, everything becomes easier. Walking feels more stable because the same leg muscles that lift you from a chair are the ones that propel you forward. Climbing stairs feels less daunting. Even just standing for a period of time becomes more comfortable because your muscular support system is doing its job correctly. I remember talking to a gentleman named Frank, who told me his wake-up call was at his grandson's 5th birthday party. He was sitting on the floor, helping him build a Lego tower, and when it was time to get up, he couldn't do it gracefully. He had to roll onto his hands and knees and use a nearby chair to pull himself up. He said the look of concern on his daughter's face was what truly hit him. It wasn't a matter of pain. It was a matter of strength. And that's what we're focusing on today. Not just a muscle, but a movement that unlocks the rest of your life. So now that we understand the profound importance of this movement, let's get into the heart of it all, how to perform the get-up exercise, or what physical therapists call the sit-to-stand, correctly and safely. The beauty of this exercise is its simplicity and its adaptability. You can do it almost anywhere, and you can modify it to perfectly match your current ability. First, let's talk about your setup. You'll need a sturdy, stable chair that won't slide. A dining room chair without arms is often perfect. Avoid soft couches or chairs with wheels. Your starting position is key. Sit on the front half of the chair, not leaning back against it. Your feet should be flat on the floor, about shoulder width apart, and positioned slightly behind your knees. This little detail is important. Having your feet slightly back helps you engage the right muscles and shifts your center of gravity forward, making the liftoff more efficient. Rest your hands on your thighs or cross them over your chest. Now let's walk through the basic movement. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, I want you to lean your chest forward, keeping your back straight. This is the nose over toes cue. This forward lean is not about slouching. It's about loading your legs for the work they are about to do. From this forward-leaning position, press firmly through your entire foot, not just your toes or your heels, and squeeze your glute muscles as you stand up straight. Come to a full, tall standing position with your shoulders back and your chest proud. Then, with complete control, you're going to reverse the motion. Initiate the movement by pushing your hips back first, as if you're aiming for the chair behind you. Keep your chest up and your back straight as you slowly lower yourself back down, aiming to sit gently without plopping. That control on the way down is just as important as the strength on the way up. That is one repetition. Now, for many people, that basic version might feel just right, but for some, it might feel too challenging, and for others, it might feel too easy. This is where the magic of progression comes in. Let's talk about how to make it easier if you're just starting out. The first and simplest modification is to use your hands. Place your hands on the seat of the chair beside you or on your thighs and use them to provide just enough assistance to help you stand up. The goal is to use them less and less over time. Think of it as having training wheels. Another fantastic way to make it easier is to increase the height of the chair. You can do this by placing 1 or 2 firm cushions or folded blankets on the seat. By raising your starting position, you decrease the range of motion, which means your muscles don't have to work quite as hard. As you get stronger, you can remove one cushion at a time until you're back to the original chair height. Finally, you don't have to come to a full stand at first. You can practice the lift-off, where you simply lean forward, press through your feet, and lift your hips just an inch or two off the chair. Hold for a second, and then sit back down with control. This builds the initial strength and confidence you need. On the other hand, what if you've mastered the basic move and you're ready for a bigger challenge? The first step to make it harder is to focus on your form and tempo. Make sure you are not using any momentum at all. The entire movement should be slow and deliberate. Try a 3 count on the way down. 3, 2, 1, and then gently sit. This slow, controlled lowering, known as the eccentric phase, is incredibly effective at building strength. The next progression is to ensure you are doing it completely without the use of your hands. Crossing your arms over your chest is the standard, as it prevents you from cheating. And if that becomes comfortable, you can progress to holding a light weight. You don't need fancy dumbbells. A heavy book, a can of beans, or a small jug of water held securely against your chest will do the trick. The most important thing, regardless of the version you choose, is to listen to your body. You should feel your muscles working, but you should not feel sharp pain. A little bit of muscle fatigue is good. Sharp joint pain is not. Start with a manageable number of repetitions, perhaps 5 to 8, and aim for 2 or 3 sets. Rest for a minute between sets. The goal is consistency, not exhaustion. Performing this simple, powerful movement just a few times a week can begin to rebuild that foundational strength that makes all the difference in your daily life. Now, while this get-up exercise is an incredible foundational movement, it's important to be honest and look at the bigger picture. The most respected research shows us that for maximum benefit, especially when it comes to fall prevention, a more well-rounded approach is best. Think of the sit-to-stand as the star player on your team. It's essential, but even a star player needs a good support crew. A landmark analysis from the esteemed Cochrane Review, one of the most trusted names in evidence-based medicine, looked at numerous studies on fall prevention. Their conclusion was powerful. Exercise programs that combine balance, functional movements, and resistance training can reduce the rate of falls by a remarkable 34% in older adults. 34%. That is a life-changing number. So let's build a very simple, very achievable support crew around our star player. We can add just 2 or 3 other simple exercises that you can do right in your own home, often using that very same chair for support. First, let's add a move for balance. A simple heel-to-toe stand is fantastic for this. Stand next to a sturdy chair or a kitchen counter, placing a hand on it for support. You're not gripping it for dear life. It's just there for safety. Now place the heel of one foot directly in front of the toes of your other foot, as if you're walking on a tightrope. Try to hold this position for 10 to 15 seconds. You'll feel your ankle and leg muscles working hard to keep you stable. Then, switch feet and repeat. As you get more confident, you can try to lighten your touch on the chair, perhaps using just one finger, and eventually trying to hold the position without any support at all. This directly trains the body's stabilizing systems. Next, let's give our upper body a little attention. We use our arms and chest for pushing open heavy doors, lifting grocery bags, and even pushing ourselves up if we do happen to stumble. A wonderful and safe way to build this strength is with a wall push-up. Stand about an arm's length away from a clear wall. Place your palms flat on the wall at shoulder height, slightly wider than your shoulders, keeping your back straight and your body in a rigid line from your head to your heels, Slowly bend your elbows and lean your body toward the wall until your nose is close to it. Then, press firmly back to the starting position. This is much kinder on the wrists and shoulders than a traditional floor push-up, but it effectively strengthens the chest, shoulders, and triceps. Finally, we can add a seated exercise to further isolate those all-important leg muscles. While sitting tall in your chair, slowly extend one leg out straight in front of you, squeezing the big muscle on the top of your thigh, your quadriceps. Hold it for a count of 2, then slowly lower it back down with control. Do 8 to 12 repetitions on one leg, then switch to the other. This seated leg extension is a fantastic complement to the sit to stand because it targets the main lifting muscle in a different way. So you can see how this creates a simple, balanced routine. You could do your get-up exercises, followed by a set of wall push-ups, some heel-to-toe stands, and finish with seated leg extensions. This whole routine might take you 10 to 15 minutes, 3 times a week. It's not about spending hours in a gym. It's about doing the right things consistently to build a body that feels strong, capable, and resilient. This brings us to a topic that is just as important as the physical exercises themselves, and that's the mind. Let's talk about the fear of falling. This is a very real and very powerful emotion. If you've had a fall, or even a close call, that experience can leave a deep imprint. A friend's story or a neighbor's injury can be enough to plant a seed of anxiety. And here's the cruel irony, a fact that is critical to understand. The fear of falling can actually increase your risk of falling. It's a vicious cycle. It starts with worry. You become hesitant to take your daily walk, especially if the sidewalk is a bit uneven. You stop going into the garden because you're nervous about bending down. You say no to an invitation to go to the park with your grandchildren because you're worried about keeping up or tripping on the grass. You start limiting your world little by little in the name of safety. But what happens when we do that? We move less. And when we move less, our muscles get weaker. Our balance system gets less practice and becomes less effective. Our reaction time slows down. So the very fear that was meant to protect us ends up creating the exact physical weakness that makes a fall more likely. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. But here is the good news. You can break this cycle. The exercises we've been talking about are not just for your muscles. They are for your mind. Every single time you complete a set of get-up exercises, you are sending a powerful message to your brain. You are saying, I am strong enough. I am in control. I am capable. I want to share a story about a woman I'll call Carol, who embodies this journey. Carol was an avid walker. She and her husband David would walk their neighborhood loop every single morning. But one day, she tripped on a crack in the pavement. She didn't fall, but she caught herself hard, jarring her shoulder and badly spraining her ankle. She was shaken. The next week, she was too nervous to walk. The week after that, she made excuses. Soon, her morning walks became a thing of the past. She noticed she was getting more winded going up the stairs. Her legs felt heavier. The fear from that near miss had taken root and was now dictating her life. Her doctor, a wise woman, didn't just tell her to be careful. She gave her a prescription for sit-to-stand exercises, just 5 twice a day. At first, Carol was skeptical, but she did them. Those first 5 were a struggle, but she did them again the next day. Within a week, she was doing 8. After 2 weeks, she didn't need to use her hands anymore. She told me the biggest change wasn't in her legs, it was in her head. She started to feel a flicker of her old confidence. One morning, she put on her walking shoes and just walked to the end of the block and back. It was a small victory, but it felt monumental. This is the true power we are tapping into. It's about regaining not just physical stability, but mental and emotional confidence, proving to yourself one repetition at a time that you have the power to stay strong and independent. Of course, knowing what to do is one thing. Doing it consistently is another. Life gets in the way. Some days we feel motivated, and other days the sofa just feels too comfortable. So how do we build lasting habits and stay motivated on this journey? The secret isn't about finding some superhuman willpower. It's about being clever and setting yourself up for success. One of the most effective strategies is to anchor this new habit to an existing one. Do you have a cup of coffee every morning? That's your cue. Before you turn on the coffee maker, do your set of get-up exercises by the kitchen chair. Do you watch the evening news every night? Do your exercises during the first commercial break. By linking the new behavior to something you already do automatically, you don't have to rely on memory or motivation. The old habit becomes the trigger for the new one. Another powerful tool is finding a partner. This could be your spouse, a friend, or a neighbor. If you know David is expecting you to do your exercises with him after breakfast, you're far more likely to do them. You can encourage each other, celebrate small wins together, and hold each other accountable in a supportive way. And please, remember that it is never, ever too late to start. There's a wonderful, inspiring story I read in Women's Health magazine about a woman who felt her health was in a steep decline. At age 70, she decided to hire a personal trainer and start strength training for the first time in her life. Her friends thought she was crazy, but she stuck with it. Within a few years, she had completely transformed her health, her strength, and her outlook on life. She proved that our bodies have an amazing capacity to adapt and grow stronger at any age. We are not doomed to a path of inevitable decline. And we must also acknowledge the cost of inaction. The CDC notes that healthy older adults can lose a significant amount of lean muscle mass and strength after just a short period of bed rest, like from a bad flu or a minor surgery. This rapid deconditioning can make it incredibly difficult to get back on your feet. Investing just a few minutes each day in these simple movements is like putting money in a strength savings account. It's a buffer that protects you, making you more resilient to life's little setbacks. So be kind to yourself. Start small. Track your progress, maybe a little checkmark on a calendar each day you do your routine. Put on your favorite music while you do them. The goal is not perfection, it's consistency. A little bit of movement done consistently is infinitely better than an ambitious plan that you only follow for a week. So, as we bring our time together to a close, let's just take a moment to reflect on the journey we've taken. We started by challenging a common and frankly disempowering idea that growing weaker is just an unavoidable part of aging. We've replaced that myth with a powerful truth. You have a remarkable amount of control over your strength and mobility. We uncovered that the secret isn't some magic pill, but a single, profound movement, the sit to stand that you perform every day. We learned why top medical institutions value it so highly, because it strengthens the exact muscles you need for real life, for getting out of a chair, for walking with stability, for maintaining your precious independence. We walked through step by step how to perform this get-up exercise with perfect safe form, and more importantly, how to tailor it to your unique starting point. Whether that means using your hands for a little help or challenging yourself with a slower tempo. We then put this star player on a team, adding a few simple exercises for balance and upper body strength to create a well-rounded routine that research shows can dramatically reduce your risk of a fall. And perhaps most critically, we confronted the fear of falling head-on, understanding it as a cycle that can be broken not by avoidance, but by proactively building strength and in turn, reclaiming your confidence. You now have the knowledge, you have the tools, you have the plan. The power to feel stronger, steadier, and more confident on your feet is quite literally within you, waiting to be unlocked. It begins today with one simple, controlled movement. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which part of our conversation today was the biggest aha moment for you? Was it understanding the science behind the sit to stand? Or perhaps it was the idea of the fear of falling cycle? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments section below. Your insights not only help create a wonderful community here, but they can also inspire someone else who is on the very same journey. And if you found this deep dive guide valuable and believe it could help others, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that little notification bell. That way, you won't miss out on our future content designed to help you live a stronger, healthier, and more empowered life. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Be well, stay strong, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.